let's break down something every lifter, athlete, and coach needs to understand: training load and how it affects fatigue, recovery, and adaptation. This is where good programming becomes great, when you can push hard, recover right, and keep progressing without hitting the wall. First, what exactly is training load? Training load is the combination of volume and intensity. Volume is the amount of work you do. Think sets and reps. Intensity is how hard that work is, usually the weight lifted or speed pushed. Multiply those two together and you've got something called volume load. That's your raw training stress, and it's what your body reacts to when it's figuring out how to adapt. The real trick, though, isn't just pushing hard. It's pushing smart. Because too little load and you won't change. Too much, too soon, and your body won't keep up. It's all about balance. This is where the general adaptation syndrome, or GAS, comes in. This is a classic model that shows how the body responds to stress. First comes the alarm phase. Your body reacts to training stress and performance temporarily dips. Then you get the resistance phase, where your body adapts, recovers, and comes back stronger. But if you keep pushing without proper rest, you'll hit the exhaustion phase, where performance tanks and recovery takes longer. That's the road to burnout, injury, or full-on overtraining. This is why fatigue management is so critical. We need stress to grow, but we also need recovery to turn that stress into gains. That's the difference between functional overreaching and non-functional overreaching. The first one is planned, it's temporary, and recovery leads to supercompensation. The second one is unplanned and unmanaged. Performance drops and doesn't bounce back. The most dangerous territory is overtraining syndrome. That's where chronic stress, inadequate rest, and poor nutrition come together to create long-term damage. We're talking about serious hormonal disruption, mood swings, immune suppression, and more. It can take months to recover. That's why we want to be on top of the signals. So how do you monitor training stress? Start by tracking volume and intensity over time. Are you gradually increasing load or jumping too fast? Keep an eye on performance markers like bar speed, heart rate, and perceived effort. Fatigue shows up in the little things: poor sleep, irritability, elevated morning heart rate, or a sudden drop in motivation. These are your early warning signs. Good programs build in rest periods and deloads. Every 4 to 6 weeks, you might reduce volume or intensity for a week to allow full recovery. This doesn't mean going soft. It means setting up the next block of progress. Think of it like reloading the spring. You pull back so you can explode forward. And don't overlook individual recovery differences. 2 athletes can run the same program and respond completely differently. Age, training age, nutrition, stress, and sleep all play a role. What works for one person might overtrain someone else. That's where autoregulation comes in. This could mean adjusting weights based on how you feel that day, using things like RPE, rate of perceived exertion, or velocity-based training tools. The goal is to train hard, but not blindly. Now let's get real practical. Here are a few tips for managing training load and fatigue. Cycle your intensity. Avoid going heavy every session. Mix in moderate and light days. Prioritize sleep. This is your best recovery tool. Hydrate and fuel. Carbs post-lift, protein throughout the day, and plenty of water. Track your metrics. Keep a journal. Record mood, soreness, sleep quality, and session difficulty. Use deloads proactively. Don't wait until you crash. Build them in before you need them. And remember, more isn't always better. Better is better. Smart training is about giving your body the right stress at the right time with enough recovery to turn that stress into strength. If your progress has stalled, check your load. If your joints hurt, check your fatigue. If your motivation is crashing, it might be time for a recovery phase. Training is a game of push and pull, tension and release. Mastering training load and fatigue is how you train long enough and smart enough to actually reach your potential. All right, that wraps up part 22. Coming up next, we're diving into detraining, overtraining, and the fine line between pushing limits and falling off the edge. How fast do you lose gains when you stop training? And how do you protect yourself from overtraining syndrome? Stick around. We're just getting warmed up.